when you bring up anything having to do with politics in 2026, people are going to get upset. And I understand that. That's why I make a pretty decent effort to not do it. First off, I don't necessarily think it's something that I'm all that qualified to be talking about. I have my own personal feelings on how things personally affect me on my day-to-day life. Things like taxes, things like how to run your family, things like farming, things that directly affect me and that I have a knowledge about. Outside of that, I don't really know why anyone would want to hear me talk about Israel, Palestine, or Iran, or the borders. I just am a dude, and I want people to live a happy life. I really do. And I think this is the best country in the world, and that on paper, if things work out the way they're supposed to, how it's written down in the Constitution and the Federalist Papers and whatnot, we can have the greatest institution that the planet's ever known. I believe in that. I believe in personal freedom. I believe in happiness. And I care. I also believe in being healthy. And RFK has really made a shift in the federal idea of what health is for American people, and some people don't like it. I do appreciate a lot of the things that RFK Jr. has done when it comes to maybe changing the way we look at the food pyramid, emphasizing protein. I think that there was, maybe people's motives were pure, but in the 70s and throughout the 80s, there was a real push against animal-based proteins because of the saturated fat content. And I think that there was cardiac concern. Okay, fine, whatever. We went a little bit too overboard, and there was much more of an emphasis on refined grains and things like that. I don't think that was a good idea. I think it's a better idea to kind of change things around and find a little bit more balance by introducing some more proteins into the system and into the American diet. Great, cool. I don't really have dogmatic feelings. That's how I feel, and it's based in at least a pretty reasonable amount of knowledge when it comes to diet. Being that I don't like to comment or even get involved in fitness culture, even though I'm very passionate about health and fitness, I don't like fitness culture. I don't like the Real Housewives kind of culture that has come about in fitness, where people have beefs with people and then they got to talk shit and then they got to critique other people and talk about how this person's wrong and that my diet's better than that and this training program's better than this. But then I came across this fucking asshole. It's as if my head was a pimple and my brain was like this sack of pus filling up with just immense and egregious emotional and intellectual chaos. And it was gonna blow when I came across this fucking asshole. I don't know who he is. He's a journalist. He writes for Wired. Do with that what you will. And he wanted to eat for a couple days like RFK recommends. And there's so much faulty, smug, shitty information coming out of this fuckface's mouth. And I felt motivated, and we're gonna pick this one apart. Thank you.
I took RFK Jr.'s advice and ate nothing but high-protein foods for a week, and I found myself barfing in the office bathroom.
Never did I hear RFK Jr. talk about eating nothing but high-protein foods. Never been something that he's documented or claimed or said or written. There has never been any push towards just eating high-protein foods. So fuck off.
Earlier this year, the U.S. Health Secretary unveiled a historic reset of dietary guidelines for Americans. And the very first item was prioritizing protein. The department claimed that official dietary guidance in years past had, quote, demonized protein in favor of carbohydrates.
Well, that's true. In the past, the food pyramid had, and whether you look at it as purely corporate collusion or a distortion of truth, there was far too much of an emphasis put on carbohydrates, especially refined grains and things like that. You started to see things like whole grains being touted as being healthy, and the baby got thrown out with the bathwater. So I do think it is a good idea, again, to put more of an emphasis on a quality, healthy, nourishing proteins with the balance of things like fruits and certain forms of starches and high fibrous, nutrient-dense carbohydrates. Now, if you notice throughout this video where he's doing these things, he's putting nothing but ultra-refined, ultra-processed bullshit protein fake foods, nothing that anyone associated with RFK would ever promote, nor is it anything I would promote.
In order to meet the level of daily protein intake recommended by the U.S. Department of Health, which for me is around 138 grams of protein per day, I switched to a diet consisting solely of foods, drinks, and supplements marketed as high in protein.
You switched to things marketed as high in protein. It's very important, that distinction. Steak is not marketed. Eggs are not marketed. All these things that I encourage you to look at, deep water fish, these are things that I definitely encourage, and no one's going to argue with me that has even half a brain that's going to say that this is a bad idea. Things that are marketed as high protein, like high protein products and processed gas station foods that they add some whey protein concentrate into, those are a bad idea. And this is what he is basing his whole new experiment around. Bad, bad, bad.
Ironically, the biggest barf inducer for me was from Ghost's Nutter Butter flavored whey protein powder. I foolishly took the jar's suggestion to add a heaping scoop of the Ghost powder to 5 or 6 ounces of water and wound up trying to choke down a glass of peanut butter sludge. Shortly after getting into the office this morning, I puked some of the Nutter Butter protein powder.
Did ya? You puked some of the Nutter Butter? You're a grown man. I think you're a man. You're an adult. You chose the Nutter Butter, the Ghost protein Nutter Butter. What the fuck's wrong with you? Did you wash it down with some Twizzlers and some sizzle sticks and maybe a nice Cosmo like Carrie? Ooh, what the fuck? Don't get Nutter Butter protein powder. You're front loading all this bullshit food so that you can then go puke, of course, because it's gross. And then you're gonna make it because RFK is recommending unhealthy or sickening ideas. No, it's because you chose bullshit powder made to be flavored like Nutter Butter. Eat me.
For my breakfasts, I paid $20 plus $7 in shipping fees for a box of something called Man cereal. It packs 16 grams of protein, 2.5 grams of creatine. It is easily the worst food I ingested for this experiment. The maple bacon flavor is touted as sweet, smoky, and Sigma, further confirming that the stuff is made for gym bros who listen to problematic podcasts.
I almost can't talk. First off, can you cook? Let's get back to the fact that you appear to be a grown man. Why are you buying protein cereals? It's like, scramble some eggs. Get some ground beef. What the fuck is happening right here? Secondly, I am tan gym bro macho guy. And if someone told me, not showed me, not presented to me as if they wanted to sell it to me, just showed me that there was a bacon maple cereal that said it was Sigma, I would urinate in my pants because I'd be laughing so hard. I wouldn't associate it with problematic podcasts. What the fuck is that? Problematic podcasts. Sigma cereal. Shut the fuck. The fact that you even found that. It's as if someone asked me to do an experiment where they said, eat and act like a woke shithead for a week. I'd be like, well, there's got to be, is there a breakfast cereal that is flavored like maple and fairy dust and diversity? And then I went online and there was diversity cereal. No one who's a gym bro is eating Sigma cereal, you fuck. And maybe it was gross because it was gross. Or
maybe you're just a stupid bitch.
Lunches came from a variety of fast food and fast casual chains that have looked to cash in on protein mania, with some meals feeling more like recession indicators than health food. On its high protein menu, Chipotle has a protein cup, literally a cup of steak or adobo chicken with nothing else. I opted for the overglazed chicken, which cost me $4.70 for a straightforward 32 grams of protein, and instantly understood the term boy kibble.
You instantly understood the term that I've never heard of, that's not real? No one's ever said boy kibble. No one whose opinions matter. No one who has a brain and a job and a family. No one of consequence. Boy, you instantly understood the terminology boy kibble. Really? Last week during my rigorous experiment, I instantly understood the terminology hawk bukkake. Oh wait, that's not a thing. I made it up. Just like you did, fuckface. Maybe you and your friends, when you play hopscotch in Brooklyn, say boy kibble. That's not a thing. What the fuck is happening right now?
Dinners were no less disappointing. For example, sweet greens steak meze plate, 34 grams of protein, was remarkably bland considering its 5-ingredient side medley, but I couldn't finish out the week without an order from the local spot called Burgers Never Say Die.
You finished out the week not cooking anything. The polar opposite of what good old RFK might recommend. But this is your argument. You're basing all of this on the collection of fast food, cereal, and protein powders that you collected to eat like RFK. What is happening right now? How could the cameras actually collect this? How do the cameras themselves not just digitally go like, this is so fucking stupid. How is it possible? How did anyone at Wired go, we're good here? Yep, you did it. Thumbs up, Dr. Faggotron. You did a great job. I am not going to sit here and tell you how to feel politically, but don't distort things to the point that you're no longer hearing reason and you're desensitized to what is actually real. I don't care who you want to vote for or how you feel about partisan issues, but the idea of emphasizing nourishing proteins is good. A guy his size, he looked like a regular average size guy. Eating 130 grams of protein in a day is probably a good idea. It would help him eat a more balanced overall diet, and it would help regulate his blood sugar and his hunger. It might help him maintain or even potentially grow certain tissues like muscle tissue, and it will help maintain cardiac tissue and lungs and brain and things like that. That's all. Amino acids do a lot of good things. Do I think people need to go goo goo gaga crazy like 90s bodybuilder with the protein? No, I do not. But I do think more of an emphasis on nourishing proteins is good. RFK is right there. I do not think by any means necessary getting your protein is a good idea, just like Dr. Faggotron has done with his Sigma cereal, his Nutter Butter protein powders, and his litany of fast food. Just so I can make my point be a little bit more understood, here is what I ate today. Myself, I made some scrambled eggs, and I got the eggs from my farm outside. I don't expect everybody else to do that, but I got some nice, fresh, good, healthy eggs. I made sure that the place that the eggs came from was healthy and the chickens were well taken care of. Then I made myself some kimchi and an orange and an avocado and some steak. And then I had me some ground beef about 4 hours later. Then, when I got hungry again, it was time for dinner. My family and I sat down and we ate some barbecued chicken, and it came out really good, and I liked it, and it was awesome, and I put some sea salt on it, and then I had some more kimchi before bed and a little bit of Greek yogurt to make sure that my gut was healthy. I was getting that protein. I also had a balance with the fruits and the kimchi and the other fermented foods and the yogurt. I like protein, but I also like balance, and I believe in nourishment. In today's day and age where we're rushing to go to the extremes, let's us, the reasonable people, meet in the middle and allow reality to come at us on reality's terms. Please don't allow your social and political feelings cloud your ability to process reality and value and meaningful, visceral, valid information. I am Michael D. Catherwood, and in this crazy mixed up world that makes you think that nobody cares, remember I do be good.